everyone, welcome to my third Q&A. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not feeling great today. I've had a headache most of the day, but I needed something to do, so this seemed like a right good idea. Now I'm gonna be picking and choosing from lists. Well, I'm gonna answer all of them, but I'm gonna pick and choose the order that I do my thing in, and I think that I should probably start straight off with one from my lovely wife, my wonderful sweet cheesecake Rin. Don't you want Cafe Mate? Folk on Tumblr who don't call her Rin. I think everyone calls her Rin anyway, right? So she just sent me discuss the SAS captains. Now, this is going to be really, really hard not to make myself sound like an absolute complete and utter loser, so I'm just going to accept the fact that I'm going to sound like a complete and utter loser. It's inevitable. So here's the deal. For those of you who don't know what and who I'm talking about by the SAS captains, they are my absolute favourite pairing ever. Anyone who follows, like the majority of you, let's be real, people who are watching this probably follow me on Tumblr, will know them because I post a lot of them, as Jan and Erica from Enterprise, Captain Arch from Captain Hernandez. Now, I get this a lot because Erica's only in 3 episodes, 25 minutes. Yeah, I know. That comes later. But I've shipped them for basically 10 years. I've had a great deal of emotional investment in the fictional relationship of two 22nd century Starfleet captains for around about 10 years, ever since Home first aired. Actually, the night it happened, I sat there and I was watching it with a few friends, and this was just after we all knew shipping, but we only just sort of learned the words, and I was sat with my friend, and this was when I was still in I just finished high school, so this was a few months before I moved to London the first time, and we were sat there, and I was sat on the sofa, and I just looked at her and I went, well, this is an inconvenient time for me to get a new ship. She just burst out laughing. So I've basically shipped them as long as Erica has existed in the Star Trek universe, and they've faded into the background from time to time when I've been in other fandoms and things, and so when I started getting back into Star Trek a couple of years ago, well, I was always already in it, but getting back into the fandom and things, I was like, I bet nobody ships these two, and I found like a few people, like on the Delphic Expanse and things, I found a few people who shipped them, and I started doing some, and then I started writing them anyway. And I made my best friend Ika ship them, my best friend in the world, and I made her ship them, which was really quite fun because she didn't even like Enterprise, and now she loves it, and now she's written them herself and things, and that's great for me. And then I met Kuka, who you guys will know as Sakara on Tumblr, who also shipped them. She shipped them before she met me, so it's not my fault with her. And now I know loads of people who ship them too, and and I have a thick following, but basically to me they are the perfect fictional couple because they just fit together so well in every way, and I love that they broke up because of the propriety of their relationship and how it wasn't acceptable, it wasn't appropriate for them to be seeing each other when John was her superior officer, and sorry, there's some noise outside. And I refuse to believe that they stopped seeing each other after Home. I refuse to believe it. It's not a thing. They were definitely together in Affliction and Divergence, and I like to believe that they never really split up again. Like, they put their relationship on hold, maybe, but that they never properly split up again, and so yeah. I've just spent like 5 minutes ruminating on the SAS captain, so I'm going to leave that one at that, and and just I'll think about that again in a bit. Let's go to another question. This is from Anila. one of her questions was pronounce her name, so there you go, Anila. That's how I would say your name. I don't know if that's how it's actually pronounced, but that's how I do it, and that's Di Mary Sue's, who's wonderful. And she said, have you ever thought of joining a band? Now, here is the embarrassing confession. I actually was in a band in high school. It was actually just me and 3 of my friends who we liked making a lot of noise in my garage after school on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, because we had, between the 3 of us, we had 4 different sports for 3 different teams, a county and a country, and so we only had Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We had a name and everything, and we had all these plans, and then we stopped talking when we left high school. And we were called the Kamikaze Pigeons, so yeah. Right, okay, let's go to another question, not by one of you two. Okay, this is by my friend Amelia, whose name's not actually Amelia, but I call her Amelia. I will always call her Amelia. She's Amelia and Elizabeth on fanfic.net, and she said, what is Erica's favourite animal? Now this obviously goes back to Erica Hernandez. Actually, a lot of questions in this set go back to my love of Erica Hernandez. Anyway, she said, what is Erica's favourite animal? Now, she knows the answer to this already, and she just wants to hear me say it, because, for one thing, I'm not quite sure how to say it proper, so, because I've only ever seen it written down, so I've never tried to say it before, and I can feel everyone watching this looking at me going, just say it. Right, she loves alpacas. I think that's how you say it. Yeah, that's gotta be it. Right, so yeah, alpacas is how I'm gonna say it. And don't tell me if I'm wrong. Let me live in, denial. But tell me if I'm right, She loves them. She thinks they're really cute and fluffy. Plus, they're big enough that nobody's gonna ask her to look after one if they don't need to. Right, let's go back to another question that Rin asked me, because she asked me a bunch, and 3 of them had really long answers, and I've already done one, so I'm going to do the other, well, one of the others. And she said, discuss Erica Hernandez, for science, of course. Now, wife, you're going to open the floodgates. I'm not going to go on and on about the character, I'll try not to anyway, but I am going to explain why I love Erica so much. A few people on Tumblr will have seen the story, because I have written it down before, but I don't think I've ever said it as such. Basically, I fell in love with her immediately, like right back when Home first broadcast, right when I first started shipping. Sorry, I'm fidgeting as well, but I've just realised that that's going to be really wonky. Sorry about this. But basically what happened was then 3 years ago, last month, 3 years ago, or even last month, 3 years ago this month, I was really ill. I was in hospital for 2-3 weeks and I was really, really sick. I was apathetic about everything. I didn't want to move. I was in so much pain, and I wasn't coping very well with my MS diagnosis and with the symptoms that I was having at that time. And the only thing that they could get to interest me was Erica's Enterprise episodes, because by this point, like I say, I was already well in love with the character, and I had a little disk drive that had the episodes on, and the nurses, when I was taken away from my tests every day, the nurses would then hide it in a different part of the ward, so that I would have to, if I wanted to watch it, I would have to get out of bed and use my stick to find where they put it, and they never hit it hard, and it was always within plain sight. It just meant that I had to keep moving, and for that way, it sort of kept me moving, and it kept me walking, and at the time I was so ill, and I look back on that and I think, oh, bad it were for me at that point, and how broke I felt like I was then, and I was nothing like what I am now. And like the few people, not so many on Tumblr, but those of you who've got me on Facebook will be able to talk to people like Ika and Jekka, who is on Tumblr, knew me back then, and Ashley and a few others, and I was just not who I am now and not who I was before. Basically 2011 is probably the second worst year of my life, and I just don't, and I just think all the time and thank, this one fictional character who basically kept me going. She's the main reason that I never gave up and I never stopped being mobile, and because of that I will always, love the character. I will always, sorry I'm getting really, and I'll always love her and I'll always defend her, and she's always going to be this really huge character to me. So yeah, let's go find something a bit cheerier for the next one. Right, okay. Anon asked, besides the people, what are you most looking forward to seeing on your trip to the USA? Now, I'm going to Orlando in December. I actually booked my flights today, so I'm really quite cheerful about that. I'm going for 2 weeks to Orlando, and I'm going to Orlando because my best friend, who I've mentioned a couple of times in this video, Ika, lives there, and I'm really looking forward to going. And basically there's loads of things actually that I'm really excited about seeing, but besides the people, because we've got loads of people who are coming down to meet me, because the chances are I'm only going to get to the US once or twice in my life, and I'm planning December and I'm planning August next year. So the people who can't come to Florida, I'm hoping I'll be able to meet when I go to Vegas in next year. So because of that, the people have been the big draw for me. But this is going to sound so weird, but alligators are the big thing that I'm really looking forward to seeing, because I've never seen one like in real life. I've only ever seen them on TV and pictures and gifs and things on Tumblr, and Ika will tell me all these stories and things, and she is completely behind this sort of minor obsession I've developed on alligators, because I just really want to see one. And we talk about him all the time, and he's just really funny, and it's just the stupid thing that we do. So yeah, there we go. Anila, again, Mary Sue's, said, what got you into Star Trek? In all honesty, I've always been into Star Trek. I don't remember a time in my life when I wasn't. I was that nerd at primary school that had Star Trek books in a bag and wore a pin on a uniform. I was that nerd, and we played games, and I remember we used to run round, me and my sisters would run round, and we were Balana, Janeway, and I don't remember who Toilet was anymore. I was Balana, Lauren was Janeway. Lauren, the only character Lauren still remembers is Janeway, which is funny enough, and I'll go into that story with a few of you privately, but yeah, so basically I was that nerd. I've always been that nerd. My parents watched it when I was little. It was one of the first things I remember watching in English that wasn't a kids show, and yeah, so basically I've always been in Star Trek, and I wouldn't have it any other way, even if I was that nerd at school. Right, the next question is from Captain Janeway is my Patronus, who said, how many cats would you want? Now, I have a fat white cat called Murphy, who I've posted pictures of before, and he's a fat white cat. He's not technically mine, but he lives in my garden, and we take care of him and we feed him and things, so you know he counts as mine. But other than him, I probably wouldn't have a cat, or if I did, I'd have maybe one or two. I need, because of the MS and things, I generally need pets that can care for themselves, who don't need masses and masses of care and attention. So cats are kind of the best pet for us. But really what I do is I sponsor animals at Borth Animalarium down in Borth, obviously, Ceredigion. I'll put a link in the description down there to Borth, because it's a great place. I've been going there since I was a little kid, like wee tiny little kid, and so I tend to sponsor animals there rather than have a pet, because for me that seems like, I tend to sponsor the meerkats, not gonna lie. I have a passion for meerkats, as anyone who follows my blog regularly will know. Every so often I'll go on a spam of meerkat stuff, and I remember Trask once posted, "Oh god, Shin's on a meerkat rant again." I can't remember what I was doing, I was just posting loads and loads of meerkat stuff, so yeah. It's too bad meerkats can't be pets, so yeah. Right, I'm gonna go for another one of Rin's. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Honest to God, I have no idea. Pass. I don't know. And I think because with having the MS, I don't tend to plan more than a year in advance, because I don't know what my health will be like. If we go with my ideal, so you know, I'm exactly as healthy as I am now, nothing else is paralysed, just my lower right leg, it's just, you know, everything else stays stable. I'd say probably I'd like to still be doing the job that I enjoy, or something similar, and hopefully still be writing. That would be really good. I'd really, really quite like to still be writing. But you know, I can't say for sure what I'd be doing. Oh crap, I've lost my thing. There's my thing. That sounded really weird. I didn't lose the thing, just shh. Ignore me for a minute. Right. Okay. This one goes back to Amelia Elizabeth again. How do you think Erica's life would be different if she and John were in the TNG or Voyager era? So we'll just take it as being the 23rd century, the 24th century. 24th century, that shows. Right, yeah. So, leaving aside the social issues and various things that in my stories and in my headcanons were still present in 22nd century Earth that wouldn't be in 24th century Federation, Erica would have a vastly different skill set. You know, the skills that she has, she developed to survive, and so her skills in the 24th century would be so very different. But presuming that she still joined Starfleet and she and John still met and ended up together, which I'm, you know, as the eternal shipper, yeah, it's a thing. I think they would have had an easier time of being in a relationship in the 24th century, because in the 22nd century and even in the TOS era, the 23rd century, there's more pressure on officers, and the frat rules are more intense than in the 24th century, which, as we've seen, the frat rules are pretty lax, and so, you know, they would have stayed together through promotions, and they could have, you know, maybe had gotten married and had kids and things earlier than in the 22nd century, and that's kind of really the only thing that I see being much different. I could still see them both having that urge to explore, which, you know, I think is great. So another question, let's go find another question. Okay, let's go. Right. Once more from Rin. What division would I be in if Starfleet was real? Considering that my job and all my skills, or basically everything I do, is business administration or media and communications, I figure that I would, depending on which era we're looking at, if we go for the 22nd and the 23rd century, I would definitely be in communications. And if we go for 24th century, I would be in operations. I think it's pretty, I don't think I can really make too much argument of that. Okay, again, back up to, this is from Heather, the Coffee Nebula, who you should all go follow, by the way, because she's just, yay, she's awesome. I love Heather, she's my little munchkin. She's the T'Pol to my Erica, and the two are nerds. Complete and utter fangirlish nerds. But yeah, she said, what is the best thing your cat has ever done? So, Murphy, the fat white one that I was saying about, does very little interesting or amusing. He sings to me at 3 a.m. now, which is why I record these either earlier than that or later than that, because if my bedroom light's on, he sings. He sits in my back garden and sings at the light being turned on. So when I was younger and I used to live in a different town, we had another cat called Misty. Misty was a psychopath. There's no other way to explain this cat. This cat was a psycho, and what she used to do was she'd climb the tree. We used to have a driveway that we never used, but there was a tree at the end of it, and an evergreen, and she'd climb up this tree, and she'd sit in it, and then she'd jump on passing dogs. We don't know why she did this, but she did it to all the dogs, and there was this one big German shepherd called Satan that belonged to a local copper that refused to walk past the end of our drive unless they crossed the road, because the cat jumped on it that many times. That cat was awesome, actually. That cat was as old as me when it died. It was born on Christmas Eve 1987, and I was born on December 30th 1987. So the cat was older than me, and we had it like basically the whole time, and it was an awesome cat. Right, these next two are really long questions, so I'm going to try and zoom through them because this is already getting pretty long. Amelia Elizabeth asked, if you were tasked with creating a new Star Trek show, what would premise be and who would crew be? Now, I would really like to see exploring a distant galaxy. I'd like it to kind of be like a cross between Enterprise and the first one's out there, and we've got very little backup, and then sort of TNG and Voyager as well, where it's that kind of diplomatic type thing, captaining as well. Maybe set a couple of centuries after Voyager, so like the 26th or maybe the 27th. As for the crew, I haven't thought loads about the crew, but I do have some really interesting ideas. I think they're interesting at least. It will be a sort of a large exploratory ship, so it's sort of like the Enterprise D or the Enterprise J, which was shown in Enterprise. And I want the captain to be an alien, anything that ain't human, because we've had 5 human captains now for mainstream television, and I don't want another human captain. I want a Vulcan or a Betazoid or a Bajoran or a Denobulan. Could you imagine a Denobulan captain? We finally learn that about why they became this insular society between X and Y, and do you know what I mean? And I'd love that. That would be really great. I never thought of that. I just thought of that one right now. Oh wow. Yeah, I want a Denobulan captain, but I also want them to be married to someone of the same gender. I want some representation there, but I don't want that to be like the main focus of their character. Same with any, really. I'd love for the first officer to be a non-binary gender, be it a human non-binary or an alien non-binary, so bigender or agender, or who is maybe completely uninterested in sex at the same time, and that would just be such an interesting, great dynamic, and I'd love to watch that. Wouldn't you? I'd love to watch that, and not interested in sex or romance or anything, just enjoys chilling with the crew and being, the second in command and all of that. And then, I've never really thought that much past, that dynamic that I'd want at the top. So to me, I think that's kind of what I'd want most, and that's what I'd plan, if it were me. Right, let's go. I have two more. Now back to ANITA at MEIC. Do I have an artist that I like the most? Not really. I'm not particularly interested in art. I appreciate it and I enjoy it on the odd occasion that it comes across my dashboard, but it's not something that I've ever been particularly interested in. I actually blame that on my high school art teacher, who was a dickhead. But if you mean fan art, I've got a couple of friends who, I really love their drawings, like even the really gross and creepy ones. And that's Char and Heather. Heather, who I mentioned before, the Coffee Nebula, and Char, who's the Andorian Mining Consortium, who are both great people as well. So, my grumpy twin, which is, a story that I've told more than once, but yeah. So, my awesome people there. And then last question, which is from, once again, start and finish with my lovely Rin, my lovely cheesecake. What are my 3 biggest no TPs? Actually, Rin, you're not going to be too unhappy with this, because your OTP is not on this list. Yours is like 5th or 6th or something, if I had to, rank them. There's only actually 2 that I'd say I really hate, though, to be fair, that I would count as my massive no TPs. There are a few others, that I don't like and I'd rather not see on my dashboard and stuff. But my biggest forever nope. I don't want to watch this, won't watch this, no, just no, is definitely Archer to Paul. Ew. Ew. No, they're friends. They're really good friends and they're a great command pairing, and I don't know. No. And then I'll stop talking about that now, because I know that I've got followers that ship them, and I am so sorry to all of you guys, but I just know. As for number 2, it's from one that nobody on Tumblr, but like 5 people are gonna know, and only one of them is likely to watch this, and that's Anna, and that's only if she feels like it, and that's because it's from a Welsh soap opera called Pobl and I hate Debbie and Mike. Hate it. Just no. Mike should get back with friggin' ANITA. Debbie should go away. No. I love Mike though, which is really sad because I really love Mike, and we call him my baby daddy because at one point we kept joking that he was looking pregnant and that I'd impregnated him with beer. Long story short, that's mine and Anna's sense of humour when we're watching shows. But other than those 2, really, it's just like things I don't like. Like, I don't like Jane Lynn Chakotay. I don't like Trip and Paul. I don't like Archer and Hoshi. I don't like Carter and Abby. I don't like Ted and Robin. There's loads that I don't like, but probably none others on the no TP level. So yeah, basically that's my no TPs. Very few, inspire the burning hot, get it the fuck away from me as the first two. So, you know, I'm going to chicken out of that and just say Adjtval and Debbie and Mike. There you go. So, that's Q&A number 3 down. I don't think I have any more questions. Do I have any more? No, I don't. So that's it. That's the Q&A. That's me answered everything. It's only taken me like nearly half an hour. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this and that my fidgeting wasn't too bad for you. So there we go. Right. See you later.